What's going on, everyone? This is Caden or Nighthawk here, and before this small series starts, I just want to let you know this was one of the quote-unquote reasons I haven't been posting other topics or other stuff on my channel. This was pre-recorded back in late September, early October, and things just started ramping up with college. But I am happy to announce I've made it through finals week with fantastic grades, and but the other reason it is or I haven't been uploading this kind of content was because of this project. I I don't know how to describe it, but just I've been experiencing a whole bunch of physical pains around my elbows and arms. I'm still kind of recovering from a mixture of tennis and golf elbow right now, so if you guys want to keep me in your prayers, that'd be much appreciated. But while I have some downtime and I am starting to recover more, I might as well get started on editing some of my footage here and just get you guys all caught up. Anyway, guys, back to the regular scheduled program. Love you all. See you later.
The season of fall is abound, and I think it's time to take on a small-scale project. Now, this is a BMX bike that I've had since my freshman year in high school. It's been ridden around since, well, actually, let me rephrase that. It hasn't been ridden as much as I wanted it to be, and it's been sitting recently, unfortunately. Now that I'm commuting on campus, hello, Blue Jay. But now that I'm commuting here on campus, I've been using a scooter instead of like riding around average on a bike. And the problem is, since fall season is abound, it starts to get wet. If you guys know what I mean out there with the scooters, brakes are non-existent and it's a little bit slippery. So you might know where this is going. We're going to try to turn this into a foot bike. How is it going to be done? Well, we're just going to plan as we go, but my main idea is that this is going to be like the foundation of the bike, or of the foot bike. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut up the front and rear sections and then just join the tube with with metal tubing. I may or may not have to get tubing, however, just because of how long these bars are already, but we still might, just in the event that this doesn't work. But here's the plan. So what I'm going to try and start out with is a whole bunch of cutting first, obviously, because you got to cut it up so you can kind of plan it out. Because one of the things I'm going to do differently compared to the drift track project is I'm going to freehand this. That means like using no CAD to come up with a design ahead of time. We're just gonna go with the flow. I've got three main goals with this. The first one being budget friendly, so that way you can just take a donor bike you got for free and maybe just spend a couple bucks on some metal and join the two together that way. The second goal is lightweight, so that way I can be able to lift this in and out of my truck ergonomically without busting my back. And then, of course, the last one, because I'm going to be asking a lot, I was saying it needs to be durable. I wanted to hold maybe about 200 plus or minus pounds because of me, who weighs about 140, and also adding the weight of my backpack. Not saying it's that heavy, but, you know, we want to have some kind of limits, essentially. So that being said, where I'm thinking of cutting is this section off. Oh, we got a spider. Yes. So I'm thinking about cutting here to expose this tube, and then here to get it off of the steering tube. And then I'm going to think about cutting this section off here and this section off there, so then I can cut the tube here and here and use that. And then this whole back section and front section could be free. I want to keep the angle of the steering rake as it is right now as close as possible. So I actually might save this tube on there, but still cut it off here. And then what I might try to do is see if I can do a DIY bending. Okay? And it may not work, but the trick is you normally will cut most of it off, but not all the way, just so you have a little bit of material flexion. You bend it manually and then you weld it back in, and you just keep on repeating for the bend angles that you want. And then that will be the tube coming out from the top, meaning down to the floorboard, which I might try to use out of this. And if that's not possible, then I'll just make my custom floorboard, and we'll just see from there. The only challenge I've got is, since this garage is not level, I'm going to have to find a way to work with something that is level here, whether it be on this axis here or this plano axis compared to this axis here. But we'll just see as we go. So let's get to disassembling this thing. We'll come back to this. Now it's time to bring these struggles of getting it free and loose. Because this thing's a lovely boy now. Aha! Got it. There's that one. And this one. There we go. Alright, bit of a checkpoint for you. I actually got to cut off these side pedals. There's a little bit of the shaft on. It's not pretty, but in the case of just prototyping, it'll be okay for the minute. So the plan is to have it kind of sit low like this, or the back, and then we'll have a pipe running out to the center pipe there, which I'm going to have to find a way to bend downwards, and it may not be enough, and if that's the case, that's okay. We might try and support this guy because this is all that this segment is cut up onto. Or no, this is all that this up tubing here, this little bracket here is all supporting it. It might be okay, but it just might add on to it just to make sure it's okay. And yeah, we're making some kind of progress. May or may not need tubing still. So there is most likely a chance now that I don't really need to get metal because of this thing. Now, if you don't know what this is actually the scrap bike frame that I have from using the front steering tube on the drift trike. And I kept this frame just in case if I needed it for any projects. I tried doing a project that I actually canceled. I still might have the tube for this somewhere. But I was thinking we can use this bottom piece here as the joint from the bottom tube up to the steering column. So we might not need to bend up the piece currently on the BMX over here. So I'm going to work on trying to clean up the bottom just so I can see what I need to do for joining or just getting a foot deck started, essentially. Let's do this. Alright, time to weld. We are working with E1613, 330 seconds, operating at 82 amps. Using a stick welder. Spot weld it, because this pipe is very thin walled and I don't want to be busting any holes in it. Standing up to take a break, but I just went ahead and got the underside of this. I had to use like a piece of flat bar to kind of fill in the gap because there's a little bit of a gap here. Is it ugly? Yes. Will it work? Maybe. Do I care? No, not really. Because, you know, this is, for me, this is just prototyping. I'm just experimenting. It's a beginner's welding project, and if you look closely, and I just realized this, but basically it looks like I just welded on the tube I just cut, and I guess it's intentional because I think I had it the way it was. I was gonna be careful because this is still blistering hot, but yep, darn it, it's not easy to do when you're one person. So the frame's gonna come down like this, which makes this looks like a straight essentially. So I'm not too worried about it. Now the fun part comes of trying to add the steering tube back in, or add a steering tube. So let's give that a shot. Now a lot of time has passed. I went ahead and cut off the bar and then experimentally notched it in. It's not my best, but what I might just do anyway is take some metal stock or something and then kind of bend it up so it kind of fits here just so we can actually close this up and also reinforce this. I'm gonna try and tack it in place here and here, and maybe anywhere in the back if it will allow me. No guarantees, but let's just see if this works. It looks ridiculous, but again, it's just a concept. And here, let's see. Let me put this on the tripod and see how this is looking so far. What we're hoping is something actually at that angle right there. That would be perfect, just like that. and I tested this already. I thought I would have to raise the height of the handlebars here, but actually it's at a pretty comfortable height, and that's pretty good. All right, let's see if we can get this tube tacked in. Okay, stop. Nope, that wasn't on. Putting the level up at the top of this says it's still level. I'm gonna go with it. All right. It's terrible, I know. I'm not proud of it. But I'm just eager to see if this will work or not. But what I did do on the other side there, hopefully you can see that garbage, is I was able to shove this tube like a little bit inwards and then just weld all around it. So hopefully we'll see what happens. All right, the last difficulty is adding on this tube, which what I'm gonna do is try to not let it notch and rest again. And then I'll take this front fork apart and just get it on there. Ooh, that would be a better spot, but I can't weld because of that. So, oh, and there it goes. The idea is to mark or line it up to with this tube, mark it, and then cut off what I don't need, let it rest on there with just the little steering tube, weld it, and then see what happens. So I'm gonna actually unfortunately call it from here. There was a lot I did off camera. I'm actually glad I didn't film because it's been a little bit of a disaster. We were so close, but I had that tacked onto there. So I started to roll around, came back up, snapped off, and it's like, all right, that's probably a good stopping point. So, but we've gotten this far. I need to go back to the drawing board and think about how I execute this steering fork. But it's pretty, so far it's pretty lightweight, which is actually a good thing. It's probably about a similar weight to the BMX. If we can keep it around there in the end product, I would be much appreciated with that, but no promises. But yeah, it rolls pretty good. Ground clearance is, well, always a problem, but here's what it is. I need to find a way to keep this from still, because the other problem I had too was just trying to keep this from falling over and keeping it straight and level. When I had that tacked on, it was actually perfect. But we'll just save this for another day. I'm gonna finish cleaning up and we'll catch you in the next part. See ya.